Welcome to the Diamond District, everyone. High drama today with Tiger Woods publicly apologizing for being unfaithful to his wife and hurting his family with his newly diagnosed illness, sex addiction. Take a listen.
It's hard to admit that I need help, but I do. For 45 days, from the end of December to early February, I was in inpatient therapy, receiving guidance for the issues I'm facing. I have a long way to go, but I've taken my first steps in the right direction.
But is sex addiction real or just an excuse Tiger is using for his wife, his fans, and his sponsors? Fox News medical contributor Dr. Marc Siegel joining me now in the Diamond District. Now, a lot of people may be shocked. My husband and I had this discussion last night, and I believe in this sex addiction. I believe it's a genuine illness, and here's why. I looked it up, and it goes along the line of impulse control disorders like gambling, like compulsive shopping, hoarders, people who keep everything, internet porn, kids are addicted to video games. Is this not a legitimate illness?
Yes, I think it is. And actually, they're about to add it to the diagnostic book under hypersexuality. I think it's a lot like alcoholism, and there's organizations out there that treat it that way with 12-step programs. It's related to depression, to anxiety, to poor impulse control, as you said, to poor self-esteem, maybe to bipolar disorder where you have mood swings. But I'll tell you what my issue is here. I think all that is true. Does it apply to Tiger Woods, though? He may have a different problem, a Superman complex, the idea that he's beyond harm, that he can do whatever he wants. Is this for real, this public display,
right. Well,
or is it a PR move?
That's what my husband and I were talking about, and he didn't buy into it at all. He said, these guys use that for a justification. And I said, well, how would you diagnose it then, Dr. Siegel? Is it the frequency? Is it the irresponsible nature of it? Is it going to prostitutes? It's got to be an extreme and very, very common behavior for you to diagnose it as an illness.
It's a great point you're making now. You know how you tell, and again, he's not my patient. I know a lot more if I actually talk to him. But the key here is how much damage are you doing? How much hurting are you doing to yourself and others beyond the actual sex, which he probably enjoys? But in other words, beyond that, who's getting hurt? If he's really destroying his life and he has no control, it's almost like being a sociopath. Then I tend to think it's real. If he climbs out of it with ease here...
Well, sociopath being, because to me it's almost like a child molester. This is a person who cannot control, knowing that it is wrong and that you're hurting people, including a child, but they say they cannot control their impulse, their urge to have sex with a child. A sane person wouldn't do that. A person who's not sick wouldn't do that.
I think you're saying this very well. I think that there's a very strong category of people who have this impulse control disorder, like gambling, and are doing a lot of harm to themselves, a form of sociopathy. I think that it's possible that he actually has that. But again, I'm concerned that right now he's playing it for a PR move.
Right. We don't know that. But can you look at, would you think he's sending loving text messages to them? He's, trying to cover his butt by leaving voicemail messages. It seems, he's a smart guy, and people who have these impulse control disorders, they still are functioning.
No, exactly. You know what? And I think it's very much tied to what the treatment is going to be here. You want to know if this is for real? They're tied into things like severe depression or bipolar. I want to see if I'll never know, but is he going to be on an antidepressant? Is he going to be on anti-anxiety medication? How much therapy does he really need? He says he's going into therapy. He needs a ton of therapy if this is real.
Well, and also, this is something like an alcoholic or a gambler where you will always have this illness. If it's legitimate in Tiger's case,
high recidivism.
You will have to deal with it all your life.
That's right, a high recidivism. One thing's for sure, he's certainly hoping his wife accepts this explanation.
Well, how does she deal with it then? If this is something that's going to always be an urge, if this is... To me, Dr. Siegel, I was telling my husband, it's worse than if you have a sex addiction illness. It's not an excuse. For me, it's worse because this is something that you can't control physically or psychologically. So she's going to always have this worry. I
got to tell you, I actually have a friend that has this problem. He's actually cured. He's gone years without having...
But you can't be cured. If you're an alcoholic, there's no cure.
He's been in treatment. He's with one of these groups, like Alcoholics Anonymous. And he's stayed clean from this. But the people that have this problem take it very seriously, and they treat it like a psychiatric problem.
Does he even go to the extreme where he's the spokesperson for this sexual addiction disorder group?
He is. Now, his marriage is ruined. He's divorced. His marriage was ruined over this.
No, I was talking about Tiger.
Oh, he better do that. Again, I'm looking to see how serious he is about this. You know one thing that bothered me? When he went to that rehab, and rehab is a really important part of this, he didn't mix with the group. He sat alone, and it made me think it was more of a stunt. I want to see him take it seriously.
That's interesting, too, because if you're saying you suspect it's more of this Superman syndrome, you know, you see that in high-powered executives, people on Wall Street, and he's sitting alone from the group. Again, he thinks he's entitled. He's too good to be there in treatment with everybody else.
Well, and we've had many famous examples. Warren Beatty, did he have that problem? Bill Clinton, did he have that problem? JFK, did he have that problem? We don't know. We don't know the answer to that, because when you're a famous celebrity, you get this feeling you can walk through fire.
Well, you know, as they always say, the first step to any addictive, compulsive disorder, whatever you want to call it, is admitting that you have a problem.
Exactly.
And we saw that today. So we'll see. Dr. Siegel,
Hope
thank
it's
you.
for real.
Good to see you.